Hello everyone, my name is Kid Lee, and welcome to the Star Wars The Old Republic Q3-Q4 roadmap for 2018. It's finally here, right? And no fuzzy Yodas this time, I promise. Or do I? We'll find out later. Let's go ahead and kick this off with the one update that I think everybody already knows about, and that's game update 593, which they're calling Fame and Fortune. The release date on this is going to be somewhere mid to late September, and this is going to be sort of the closure of the SWTOR Summer of PvP. It will be introducing the new Van Din Huttball Warzone. Now, if you don't know, this Warzone is already on the PTS, so if you want to go on there and test it, you can do so right now for those who are watching this video on time. I've actually already tested it. It's actually really good. I like it a lot better than the last one they did. This one is also very, very big. It might even be bigger than the original Huttball map that was put in the game. So that's it for 593. So let's go ahead and jump on to the new stuff that everybody really wants to know about. So I'm going to go ahead and start this one off with just the title, all right? Jedi Under Siege. Jedi Under Siege. That is the title of game update 510. Release date for this is this year in the fall at some point. So again, if we go back to 593, they're saying mid to late September. Figure this one's probably going to be November would be, I think, a pretty good guess. So it says here, Jedi Under Siege will be the next phase of the SWTOR storyline. The storyline will kick off with a bang on an ancient Jedi world ravaged by a cataclysm centuries in the past. This beloved planet has been part of the Old Republic stories since the original Tales of the Jedi comics. And we're really excited to bring it to life for our players as a new daily area with separate Republic and Imperial storylines. All right, hold on to your fuzzy Yodas. Let's stop right there. It said, going back, Tales of the Jedi comics. A lot of you are going to say, what is that? What is that exactly? Okay, if you've never heard of this, Tales of the Jedi was a series of comics published by Dark Horse Comics between 1993 and 1998. If we go into just a little bit more detail on that, it says that this comic book series covered 8 story arcs, again, all published by Dark Horse Comics, set during the Old Republic era. 6 of the 8 Tales from the Jedi story arcs took place during a time surrounding the events known as the Great Sith War. Very, very interesting stuff, and I think this brings up a lot of questions. Now, if you didn't know, when it comes to SWTOR story stuff and characters, the team at BioWare, they have to get this approved by not only EA, but the people at Disney and Lucasfilm. They have to, make sure that what they're doing in this game is kosher, even though we know that SWTOR is not canon, at least not yet. The Disney peeps still want to keep an eye on things. So the fact that they actually are letting the BioWare team use some story stuff, possibly locations, planets, and characters from that old comic book series, it's really kind of a head scratcher. It's like, I'm wondering, are they going to make those old comics canon? Are they going to update SWTOR and make that canon? I mean, that's a whole different story for another video at some point down the road, I think. But I just thought that was really, really interesting. So, continuing on what BioWare said, they said, this ancient world, we will see the return of several fan-favorite characters, as well as introduce some exciting new characters, including a powerful Jedi veteran, not Revan. It actually says that. Who will join Republic players on their mission to protect a hidden Jedi base. A deadly commando who will aid the Imperial players in their mission to destroy it. Over the coming months, we will bring you more details about the planet and offer more insight about the conflict. Okay, so one other quick thing before we jump off of that subject is, so as soon as I read this, and again, I read the thing about Tales of the Jedi, the comics, I did a speed run through the entire summary of that series to perhaps try and figure out what planet they are talking about and what planet they could potentially add into the game. So here on the screen, I'm actually going to put up a list of all the planets that I could find that they talked about in this series. Now, 2 in particular stood out to me. Koros was talked about a bunch, especially in the early chapters, so to speak, of that comic series. And the other one was Zyos. Now, we already have that planet in game, so I don't think that is going to be the option. Also, down at the bottom, they have Ryloth, and I thought that was very interesting. But if I were to take a wild guess on which one it's going to be Koros. So we'll see if I'm right. About 6 to 8 months from now, when this expansion, or actually if the expansion, that's a different story. Later this year, we'll find out if I'm correct with this Koros, or if that is indeed part of the expansion. You know, we don't know, because all of this is going to eventually lead into the expansion. So yeah, you know, who knows, right? So that's really cool stuff. So sort of moving along with that same update. So we're still on 5.10, all right, guys? They did a little bit of a piece talking about gameplay and quality of life. So this is a quote from BioWare. It says, it remains our strong belief that having a quality experience every time you play the game is as vital as new gameplay. We started refining many areas last year and have continued to adjust our systems. You'll notice a variety of enhancements to weapons, armor, PvP war zones, guild systems, decor, Galactic Starfighter, and more on a continuous base over the coming years. And I thought that was a really interesting quote, coming years. So there's so many people out there, they're like, oh, this game's dead, this game's dying. No, they're already planning out years ahead. So with this roadmap, we are announcing the availability of Master Mode Gods from the Machine, targeted for release with Game Update 5.10. We expect to make it available for testing on the PTS in September. This fall, we are also adding a new tier of gear for your characters, Tier 5, and it's going to be different in that you will only be able to craft this from schematics. More information to come on how you get these. Okay, so let's stop and pause right there. I have a feeling like a lot of people might be really upset by that statement. T5 only coming from crafting. And, you know, they didn't even mention, you know, the loot boxes, coming from loot boxes or any of that stuff. So straight up crafting. One of the big issues that I think this game has right now is what I would call a version of the chase. Because for any video game out there, MMOs in particular, it's all about going in, doing something awesome to get really, really awesome gear, right? And I just feel like this game has really strayed away from that. And now they're saying T5 crafting only. They continue to stray away from that. Because you want to go into a dungeon, you know, Flashpoint. You want to go into a Flashpoint. You want to do an epic quest. You want to do a raid. You want that gear to drop and say, oh man, look at that. That is so cool. I want that. I'm going to grab it, you know, whatever. And it just seems like what they've done over the last couple of years has just gotten away from that excitement. You look at other MMOs. Again, we could talk about World of Warcraft and the expansion they just released. And, you know, I've jumped back into Warcraft for the first time after 8 years, and I've really been enjoying that experience. You know, those drops saying, ooh, look at that. What is that? And you open up the loot, and it's like, oh, man, I just got this cool thing. So, yeah, I don't know about this crafting thing. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it, so definitely leave a comment down below on that one. So, moving along, it says we are also focusing on improving the overall experience for guilds. Starting with Game Update 5.10, we will be releasing a variety of guild features, including progression systems, management, communications, and other improvements. Actually, let me switch screens here real quick, because I believe in the roadmap they actually talk about it a little bit more. Okay, so guild improvements. First of all, the progression system, a new progression system that allows active guilds to customize and improve their experience the more they play. Also, the ability to personalize your guild. PvP challenge system. Create custom Warzone, Arena, and Galactic Starfighter skirmish matches and track your record against other guilds. Conquest improvements, supporting the new guild feature. They're also adding an inspect tool, a logging tool, email, our member email, member ban legacy, and increased rank cap. So they're basically adding in just an entire guild system. Finally, after what, 7 years, they're finally doing this, this is something that they should have had in the game at launch. Most MMOs have this in at launch or maybe a little bit after launch. So it's really curious as to why they're just now doing this after, like I said, 6-7 years. I mean, it's definitely a welcome change, but it's kind of like, what's taking you so long, BioWare, right? So really, really cool stuff. It's going to be interesting to see exactly what is in that progression system, exactly how the PvP challenge system works beyond what I just said. As far as the inspect tool, it just says potential members can review guild profile and information. So that's kind of cool. For login, it says logs and displays a wide variety of guild member activity. Again, World of Warcraft already has this. So that's really, really cool stuff. So moving on past guilds, we're going to talk about companions, which I know is always a hot topic. All right, let's go to the hottest companion that everybody wants to know about, Jaisa. I hear it 20 times a day. What's happening with Jaisa? I'm screaming. I'm just holding my fuzzy Yoda really tight. I think it's going to pop its head off. All right, Jaisa. Sith warriors will be able to reunite with Jaisa, provided they turned her dark side in the original storyline. We are still tracking down light side Jaisa, and we'll let you know when we can convince her to return. Other than her, we've got Doc and Nadia coming back as well. And again, we are still talking about Game Update 5.10. So really 5.10 is going to be the big one here at the end of the year, which is going to be pretty cool. All right, sort of the last couple of things here. They briefly did a statement talking about player communication and basically just go on to say that, as you've read over the past couple of months, on the forums in particular, we really want you to discuss game changes, and we are listening to everybody. This is why they're doing the open PTS now, so that they can get as much feedback as they possibly can for everyone. So they're basically just continuing to say that they're listening to the players and trying to do what they can, I suppose. And finally, they have a little snippet for Beyond 2018. So, as I already said earlier in this video, there is an expansion coming out. It's been confirmed multiple times. That's going to happen next year, okay? Now, their statement says, as we roll into the new year, we have a ton of exciting adventures planned for you and your friends. We're not ready to discuss the details yet, obviously, but you can ensure the conflict between the Republic and the Empire is going to explode into a full-scale war that will draw your characters into the battles on new planets with an S, where they'll fight alongside and against many of the new and returning fan favorite characters. Thank you, Mr. Keith, lead game producer. So that is basically the roadmap. So here real quick, we'll just do a recap of everything that I just said. So again, 5.93 is the end of the PvP stuff with Van Din Huttball mid to late September. We then have Jedi Under Siege 5.10. My guess is November on that. That is going to be the new storyline. The system improvements the management improvements, and the companions. And so that, ladies and gentlemen, is it for the rest of this year in SWTOR. You never know when they might pop in a couple of other interesting things here or there, but for the most part, that is going to be it. We will have Life Day returning in December. So anybody who likes throwing snowballs around, you'll be able to look forward to that. But other than that, that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think what else I can potentially say on this. It's not perfect. I don't know if you can ever have a perfect thing. I'm really interested in this storyline and how it's going to tie into these comics. I almost want to go and see if I can find these comics now and just start reading through all the comics. And I'll tell you, the other thing that you guys might want to consider is before the game came out, BioWare released the SWTOR timeline series. And that timeline series goes back pretty far. So if you've never seen that, or if you haven't seen it in a long time, make sure you check that out. And I do have that as a video on my channel. I've actually pieced together the entire thing in one long video. I think I'm like one of about 2 or 3 other people who have done that. So not very many, because if you look for the original videos, they're all broken up. So yeah, if you go back to, if you basically just go to the main page on my YouTube and then look near the bottom, there's like a lore section, and I think it's the first video. So definitely check that out if you've never seen it, or like I said, you haven't seen it in a very, very long time. But yeah, otherwise the story stuff looks great. Guild improvements, fantastic. A little late on that, and then more companions. I do think they're going to start pumping out more companions, because I think before the expansion, I think they want to get them all out. So they'll definitely be doing that. But yeah, I think, ladies and gentlemen, that will officially go ahead and do it for this video. So once again, I'd love to hear what you have to say about this, so leave your comments down below this one. A couple other quick notes before I wrap things up, and that is just a quick reminder that I do stream on Twitch. I stream SWTOR on Twitch. For those who are watching this on time, we're currently doing a Sith Warrior playthrough. After that, we're probably going to do another playthrough, but I do a ton of Q&A and giveaways and stuff for the SWTOR peeps on Twitch. Also do lots of streaming of other games, so make sure you check out that stuff as well. For those who are actually, again, sorry, I'm repeating myself a little bit, but for those who are watching the video on time, we got Spider-Man coming out here on Friday. I'm going to be streaming all of the new Spider-Man. We've got stuff like Red Dead, Fallout 76, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I'm going to be streaming all those games this fall, because we got a lot of really cool games coming out in addition to SWTOR. So try and do as much coverage as I can. If you can't watch this stuff live and you're interested in still potentially seeing those, I do have a stream archive here on YouTube. The link will be down below this video. And finally, if you're interested in our community Discord, we have that set up as well, and the link is also down below this video. So that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and do it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. Everybody keep playing, have fun, and we'll see you next time. Boop. Man, he's just really fuzzy. Actually, if you want to talk about... Wait, where's my Wookiee? You want to talk about real fuzzy? This thing's fuzzy. All right, see you guys.